UDO. Appeals from final determinations by city officials charged with enforcement of the city's UDO, requests for reasonable accommodations, and other requests as may be provided in the city's ordinances. Our first agenda item is the review and adoption of the minutes from the February 27th, 2023 meeting. I think we received those today. Do I have a motion to approve the minutes?
Motion. Second.
Okay, all in favor say aye. Aye. Great. Now we begin the evidentiary hearings for the cases listed on the agenda. We only have one today. In hearing cases, the board conducts a quasi-judicial evidentiary hearing. That means it is like a court hearing. State law sets specific procedures and rules concerning how this board must make its decisions. These rules are different from some other types of land use decisions, like rezoning cases, which are legislative in nature. This board's decisions are constrained by the standards in the city's ordinance and the facts presented at the hearing. The board hears and considers evidence presented at the hearing and applies the standards set forth in state law and the city's ordinance. The board must base its decisions upon competent material and substantial evidence presented at the hearing. If you will be speaking as a witness, please focus on the facts and standards, not personal preference or opinion. Participation is limited. This meeting is open to the public. Everyone is welcome to watch. Parties have rights to participate fully. Parties may present evidence, call witnesses, and make legal arguments. Witnesses may testify as to facts to which they are competent to testify, so long as those facts relate to the legal standards. In addition, lay or non-expert witness testimony is limited to facts, not opinions. For certain topics, this board needs to hear opinion testimony from expert witnesses. These topics could include projections about impacts on property values and projections about impacts on traffic safety. For variance requests, a 4/5 vote of the board is required to grant variance. For all other hearings and matters, including the adoption of the minutes, the decision will be made by a simple majority vote of the board. Witnesses must swear or affirm their testimony. So at this time, we will administer the oath for all individuals who intend to provide witness testimony. Please stand if you plan to provide testimony. Do you solemnly swear or affirm that the evidence you shall give to the board in this action shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? Thank you. All right, so our first case today is a variance. The owner, South Slope Apothecary Real Estate LLC, and the applicant, Nathaniel Webster of Arca Design PLLC, requesting a variance to 7112E2 remote parking of the Unified Development Ordinance. The petitioner is seeking relief from the 500-foot maximum walking distance from principal use located at 2 and 6 Brook Street with PIN 9648609201. The petitioner is requesting a 403-foot extension to the 500-foot maximum, totaling a 903 feet from the property. Remote parking to be located at 12 All Souls Crescent. So Nancy, I think you're presenting.
All right. Good afternoon, Chair and Board. I'm Nancy Watford, Development Stormwater Supervisor and Zoning Supervisor, I guess now, and Development Services Department. So, and today we're looking at the 2 and 6 Brook Street shared parking variance. So as the chair stated, this is the variance from the shared and remote parking standard, that which we require shared parking agreements to be within 500 feet walking distance of the property and the principal use that is located on. And so they're requesting an additional 403 feet for a total of 903 feet walking distance. This is we've seen this property before in this development for the flood variance. So the location of the property is in Biltmore Village, in the historic district at 2 and 6 Brook Street. There are 2 structures that are getting a breezeway between them. And then I think that large structure next to it is the 10 Brook Street. So here's a close-up of the site, aerial. And then street view. There is some, here's what the applicant provided, the schematic plan. There are 3 parallel parking spaces in front of the structure. They have some, so the project has to go through a level 1 for full site compliance, which, as you can see, that they have some sort of parking in the back. That, because of the site constraints, that parking will probably not be allowed to remain, as there's not enough distance for parking and maneuvering in and out of a parking space. So a parking space is 9 by 18 feet in depth, and they have about 19 feet to the property line for maneuvering, and that wouldn't, so it would allow for like 2 feet of maneuvering on the property if they were to have parking, like front-end parking on the site. And so, because typically you need 18 feet and then 24, sometimes you can get away with a little bit less for maneuvering in and out for if there's two-way traffic. So. And so the site is the yellow star, and then the blue star is where the remote parking will be located. At 12 All Souls Crescent. I think that's it. Pretty basic. Do you have any questions for me?
How many parking spaces are they required to?
22?
17
17.
for the CP2 reduction. The agreement allows for 18.
It's the only question that I had. Males?
What is it, the Blue Star now? Currently?
It's a, I believe it's a publishing company. So it's
Okay.
a house and converted to office.
What are the planned hours of operation for the new?
Can I
intended-
Yeah, if the applicant wants to come up and speak.
I know.
Do you have anything to say on the front end, and then you can answer their questions?
Cool, yeah, so I'm Nathaniel Webster, architect with Arca Design, and applying on behalf of the owner. The 2 buildings will function together, but at times independent. To go into your question about the hours of operation, I think the planned hours of operation are likely from around noon until probably 8 o'clock for the 2 to 4 Brook Street space, and then the 6 Brook Street would be an evening only hours of operation from probably 5 until 10 or 11, I would say. And in the process of sending all the documentation, and Nancy had asked about the owner's attempts to secure a parking agreement closer to not have to go through this variance request. I can't say that the owner reached out to every single property owner closer, but I know that they spent a couple of months and have delayed the project significantly trying to get this parking agreement in place, and that was the closest that she was able to find in any kind of reasonable proximity to the site.
Did he answer your question?
We did, yeah.
You did answer your
I
question?
did another question.
Okay, yeah, go ahead.
Under 10 Brooks, is that all public for all of them? I've been under that parking structure, but is that public? Is that only for?
Yeah, and I know for a fact that the owner reached out to them to see if they could have a written agreement for their parking. They did not agree to that, but I mean, I personally have parked under there before going to other locations in Bookmore Village, and I don't believe there's any signage that says that you can't do that. And then, as you can see, directly across from the space or from the property in question is that kind of triangular shaped plaza that has a fair amount of public parking around it.
speak for that, we'll close the public hearing. Is there a motion? A second? A second, okay. Is there any discussion we need to have?
Is it, can I ask you a question, is that mainly for employee parking right here, for the off-site, or is it?
The offsite would be just to meet the zoning requirement yeah, it's both employee and patron parking.
I feel like this is reasonable. I mean, anyone who goes to Biltmore Village parks wherever they can go unless there's a parking lot that says don't park here, will tell you. How I see it. Okay.
Word to word.
Okay, well, anyone else have any comments? All right, well, then, when I say your name, please say aye or nay. Mr. Newman?
Aye.
Mr. Pendanish?
Aye.
Mr. Smith?
Aye.
Ms. Wisely?
Aye.
And I am an aye. So the motion carries. And it's approved, I guess is what I'm saying. Good job. And I guess there's nothing else this month, so does somebody care if we adjourn?